Hello dear students. So I welcome you to the another lecture of novel drug delivery system. So as of now we have covered the various aspects related to the polymers. What are polymers? What are their classifications? And we have also seen the properties as well in the previous lectures. So the objective for today's lecture is that we will be seeing those examples of polymer which we are using for controlling or sustaining the drug release, as well as we will be showing you some commercial products or some commercial products which are available in the market, and why they are basically used for controlling or sustaining the release. So these lecture series will now be means acquainting you with the current pharmaceutical products, that is the excipient in the polymer science we are using for controlling or sustaining or targeting the drug release. So let me just share you the contents for today's lecture. So as I mentioned in my introductory session, I will be discussing the application of polymer in formulation of control release formulation. So not only the control release, basically we will be trying to develop the sustained or means targeted formulation or site specific release formulation. So all these basically depend on the proper selection of a polymeric material. So in today's lecture I will be showcasing you what are cellulose based polymers, how we can modify these cellulose based polymers, and because of their modification we can alter the different properties of these cellulose based polymers, as well as we will showing you some hydrocolloids examples, and these are also used in controlling or sustaining the drug release. So briefly talking about the applications of polymers, so you must be aware by now I have just arranged for you some five major application of polymer as far as control release formulation is controlled. So ultimately our target is to protect the drug if it is means showing certain degradation in the GIT, in any part of the GIT. So let us take an example of enteric coated formulation. So the idea is to keep the drug protected in the stomach environment and release the drug in the intestinal environment. Similarly, we can also use an approach of microbially triggered formulation, in which we can use some hydrocolloids or hydrophilic polymers. So what will be the condition over there? They will be going to the system, means they will be bypassing the GIT and reaching to the colon, and as the colon contains certain microbiological microbial flora, so they will be digested over there by those microbial flora, and we will be getting a controlled release in the colon specific area, as well as we can mask the taste of certain bitter compounds using the coating of polymers over them. And as I am also mentioning the controlled release and targeted, so these are the various applications of polymers, and we can also use some polymer polymeric interaction to increase the drug bioavailability as well. So let me just show you what are those properties which we are looking for. So if we are trying to means mask the bitter taste of a particular drug, like we can say the caffeine, so we are looking for a polymer which has a particular property of film forming, so that we can coat a particular coat of polymer over that particular drug. Similarly, we can also look for a control release formulation, so it has a property, or we can develop a suspension or emulsion. So to enhance their physical stability, we are looking for rheology modifiers. These are those systems which are basically imparting the thickening to the system. Or we can simply means develop a hydrogel which can be applied on the topical part of the skin, so that we can have better as or a better or aesthetic appearance. Similarly, if we are looking for certain control release formulations, so this property of polymer, that is gelling with the gastrointestinal fluid, when the gastrointestinal fluid means contact with the polymeric system, so if it has a tendency to gel with it, so it can control the release of the formulation. As well as there are certain approaches in which we are trying to control the release by following the process of mucoadhesion. Means the mucous membrane, you must be familiar with that. Mucous membranes are there in our biological systems, and if a drug or the system is able to means adhere to those means mucoadhesive property, if they are having some mucoadhesive property, so ultimately we can control the release, or we can target the release to a particular site. As well as we can also try for pH dependent solubility. As I told you, the case of enteric coating or colon specific formulations, and we can also impart changes into the solubility of a drug, means which can be used for masking the bitter taste of the drug. As well as we can improve the barrier properties, that can be for the packaging, as well as in the protection of the drug formulation from the environment. So let us come directly towards the certain examples of polymers we will be using in the pharmaceutical field to control or to sustain the drug release, or any of the property which I have already mentioned in my previous slides. So cellulose is a wonderful polymer. It is a naturally occurring polymer. So I have shown you this in the previous lectures as well. And in the means pharmaceutical space, the companies are manufacturing cellulose and its derivatives with altered pharmaceutical properties. So the brand name comes over here for cellulose is the Methocel. You must be remembering, or you should means look over here. So Methocel is the brand name for the cellulose based polymers. And if it is a pure means methyl cellulose, means we have incorporated a particular methyl group on the cellulose molecule. So you can see this is the structure of the cellulose, and we can means incorporate or means replace this substitute it with different moieties. So let me just show you an example. Hydroxypropyl substituted methyl cellulose display thermogelling property in water. So if we are able to means substitute a particular hydroxypropyl group, so it will be imparting thermogelling property in the water. So this thermogelling can be used for means thermosensitive release or stimuli sensitive release in the drug, for the drug. So now let me discuss what is this thermogelling property. So as the temperature of solution increases, means we are talking about when the cellulose is there with the liquid means solvent is there. So the hydrophobic part or the hydrophobic group of these polymers start to aggregate. Okay, so what we are trying to do, we have taken cellulose and we have put it into the water, and now we are just trying to increase the solvent means solution temperature. So what will happen, the hydrophobic groups of these polymer will start to aggregate, and as a result the polymer solution will assume a cloudy appearance. So this cloudy appearance is somewhat related with the gelling property of the polymer. So the cloud point temperature for the pure methyl cellulose, means if there is no hydroxypropyl substitution over it, so the pure cloud point of the methyl cellulose will be around 50 degrees centigrade. And as we go on introducing the hydroxypropyl groups, so they will be having better solubility in water, and the cloud point temperature will be shifting towards the higher side. So you can see the Methocel E, F and K will be having a higher cloud point temperature, and it will be shifting from 60 to 85 degrees centigrade. and it merely depends on means how much we have substituted the methyl group with the hydroxypropyl groups. So let me just show you this table which I have drawn over here. So you can see the polymer is the cellulose, the backbone is the cellulose, and what is the property or the characteristic of the cellulose? It is water insoluble. And why it is water insoluble? Because of excessive hydrogen bonding over it. So how the property will change on substitution, you can see in the next table. So when we have substituted a methyl group into the cellulose parent molecule, so it becomes soluble in the cold water only. So you can see the transition happening when we are doing with the substitution over there. So now this product, that is methyl cellulose, can be means has been launched into the market with commercial product name Methocel A, and it has been launched by Dow Chemicals, and it swells and disperses slowly in cold water and forms a colloidal dispersion, and it also possesses thermogelling property. So you can just simply realize over here how the substitution of methyl group will increase the solubility of cellulose in the water. Now coming towards another substitution, now we have incorporated the ethyl group in place of methyl. So see, it becomes water insoluble, and it can be used for aqueous coating system for sustained release application, because for sustaining the drug release we never want the polymer to be soluble into the biological system, and we need a impermeable barrier. So you can see with the help of ethyl cellulose, or ethyl cellulose is an means is an example for sustained release polymers, because it has a impermeable barrier. It can also plasticize with dibutyl sebacate or oleic acid to improve the polymeric coating, and the brand name with which it is available in the market is Ethocel. So you can see it is marketed as Ethocel. So it is easy to remember. Methocel stands for methyl cellulose, and Ethocel stands for ethyl cellulose, and both of these are available from the Dow. Ethyl cellulose latex aqua code is also available, and they are from different corporation, that is the FMC corporations. Now let me show you these wonderful classes, or we can say these are means naturally occurring type of polymers that are known as hydrocolloids. So polysaccharides is the backbone of these type of polymers, and polysaccharides and the derivative can be used as rate controller in sustained release formulation because of the gelling property. So polysaccharides are claimed to be effectively treat local colon disorder. So if we can use the polysaccharides, we can also treat certain local colonic disorders, and as I was mentioning in my introductory session, that we can use these polysaccharides for colon targeted drug delivery system, because there are certain microflora in the colonic environment which can digest these polymeric coating that are made up of polysaccharides. So they will be having a site specific release only in the colon, because no bacteria will be available in the stomach or duodenum or jejunum. So no bacteria will be there, so it will not be digested over there, and as the microflora is only in the colon, so we will be getting a microbially triggered drug release formulation. So these are some examples like inulin, amylase, guar gum, pectin. So we can use these polymer, and lot of other polymers are also there, like chitosan, gelatin carrageenan is there. So we can use the combination of these polymer as well to control or means to modify the drug release. And these are those certain polymers like inulin, amylase, guar gum, pectin, which can be easily digested by the colonic flora. Sorry. So let me show you one beautiful example of alginic acid. So alginic acid is linear polysaccharide. Okay. So that mainly consists of, there are two main building blocks. First is the mannuronic, and other one is the glucuronic. So both of these residues together build up this alginic acid, and alginic acid and DS salts like sodium alginates, and they form anionic polymers and can offer gelling property. So we can also use the complexation phenomena, in which we are using the anionic charge of this alginic acid, and another means we can admix it with the chitosan, which has a positive or the cationic charge. So because of the polyelectrolyte complexation, we can control the drug release in the environment. So since they contain carboxyl groups, they can easily undergo a complexation reaction in the presence of ions. So as I already mentioned you, or we can simply control the drug release by complexing it with different ions like calcium. We can take and means cross link it with the alginic acid to make polymeric beads. So coming towards the another type of example is carrageenan. So carrageenan is sulfated linear polysaccharide of galactose and anhydrogalactose, and it carries a half ester sulfate group with the ability to react with the proteins. So we can also use the means property of carrageenans to complex with the certain type of proteins, that is the charged amino acid protein. So you can see the solution becomes gel or viscous due to complex formation between carrageenan and charged amino acid of the proteins. So now this carrageenan can occur in or is available in three different gates, that is kappa, iota and lambda. So you can see I have highlighted this particular part which says both kappa and iota carrageenan can be used for controlled delivery application, because they again provide us the gelling property. For example, you can see over here donepezil is a drug. So donepezil hydrochloride orally disintegrating tablets, means these will be the faster releasing tablets, and cefoperoxime proxetyl oral suspension usually contains carrageenan. So we can also means not only when we are talking of control release, it is not merely that we are trying to sustain the drug release. We can also look for faster release formulation. So thank you dear students. I hope you will enjoy this lecture, and in the upcoming lectures we will be discussing more examples like chitosan, and we will be also showing you some synthetic grade polymers, and then we will be showing you certain pharmaceutically or commercially available products in terms of control release formulation, in which we will be showcasing you how these polymeric systems are basically controlling the drug release from these sort of systems. So until then, thank you.